Good evening, everyone. I am Romit, and I'll be discussing on the topic of the based on the sediment management viewpoint. Basically, we all know that Sagar Mala was launched as like a port-led development. So, development of ports around like a string of pearls around the Indian coastline, uh, which led to the development of various new ports and new inland waterways as well. So basically, as we now are moving ahead with the 10 years of Sagar, we are looking into port-led industrialization. New ports have been coming up. We have the Vadwan port, Vinjinzam port is there. New ports are coming up. There is an development of new capacity at the existing ports. Recently, we have 106 new inland waterways have also they have also been identified. So we see that the port-led development or the water-led transport has gained a lot of momentum within these 10 years. But one aspect that is neglected, that is the sediment management. Now, why I am talking about sediment management is because it affects directly the navigability, the vessel movement, the navigability in the inland channels, the dredging, siltation. All of this is dependent on the sediment dynamics, the understanding of how the transport is happening, deposition is happening. Uh, but it is often overlooked and is ignored and is considered secondary. uh, but what we see is why we say that due to the rapid urbanization, say due to the unplanned expansion, encroachment on the flood plains, there is a stress on the drainage patterns, especially when we talk about the inland waterways or we have the river trajectories. Now, what this leads to is that in case of extreme events like floods or droughts, there is an these extreme events lead to an very uncontrolled sediment flow. Now, this directly has effects on the amount of water that is available in the navigation channel. The sedimentation reduces the depth as well. So this has a lot of effect in the navigability. Apart from that, the Indian Ocean region is one of the most least studied when we talk about the bathymetric conditions or the other acoustic related challenges as well. What is the benthic life or effect of the various anthropogenic activities on the marine ecosystem or on the suspended sediment flow? Basically, the Indian Ocean region lacks a lot in this particular the oceanographic research, uh, which is also like the Indian Ocean is also characterized by the tropical condition. We have unique conditions. So we have climatic conditions. The monsoon is an intense monsoonal system has been faced in the Indian Ocean region. All of this leads to various unique phenomena. The one of the thing is that the Indian Ocean region is again it is one of the it has the highest temperature of all of them. So it affects the basically apart from that there is the salinity and the density of the water. This has effects on the acoustic propagation. So the acoustics are very much important for the assessment of the seabed. Now these the acoustic waves are again dependent on the medium characteristics, that is the water basically in this condition. So the unique properties change the way how the propagation is happening. In fact, due to this, the Indian Ocean region is mostly considered as acoustically shallow. That means that the so far channel, which is required for the like the ambient or loss-free kind of wave propagation, is very much deeper. So this leads to a degradation in the acoustic sonar performance to around just to 60 to 70%. Moreover, there are a lot of marine habitat. There are a lot of say undersea cables as well, and a lot of human activities are also going on. Say the port operations as well. These again result in a multi-part propagation affecting the acoustics wave propagation also. So all of this, the anthropogenic and the climatic condition, lead to very unique phenomena which are not like seen other in other regions of the world. Now, when we talk about sediment management, we have unique the sediment deposition, the sediment dynamics is there. This raises dredging concerns because again due to the extreme monsoonal events as well, extreme droughts as well, a lot of sediment might be inflown in just a few months period. Now this raises extreme problem in the navigational channels as well. We also need to understand what is the sediment seabed classification in this case. uh, uh, and then how the monitoring and prediction of the sediment dynamics is happening, understanding what is the river and sediment transport. So all of these are the major aspect that the sediment management would cover. When we talk about the port management, if there is an unchecked or unmanaged sediment flow, so as you can see, it may lead to an excessive amount of sediment being transported into the uh, uh, into the sea, not through the basin or through the estuaries. And then this is also amplified by the excessive vessel movements. How the propeller, the movement of the propellers and all affect the sediment redeposition, because once for a particular region dredging is required and dredging is done, but then due to the lack of studies of how the say due to the various vessel movement, this sediment might be redeposited in that region again. That would again lead to have we need to again have proper studies of how the sediment dynamics is happening at that particular location. In fact, with the rising the climate change is there, rising sea levels are there, and then this leads to we have the El Nina and the La Nina condition, how the near shore circulation is changing. All of this has effects on the we have the longshore drift of the sediments as well. Now, this not only has effects on the port operations, but due to excessive, say, erosion of the sediments, there might be beach erosion as well. And due to the intermixing of the various sediments, sediment characteristics might change. So, say for a particular season, dredging has occurred, but then due to the various conditions, there might be sediment mixing due to erosion or other sediment inflow. The sediment characteristics might change, and that requires another kind of study before you conduct dredging for the next season and all. So the sediment flow is highly dynamic in nature, and that needs to be accounted based on the seasonal variation, based on the time of the year. As you can see, that due to sedimentation, a lot of navigational channels. This is the Kolkata port. So how the Hooghly River transports sediments. When we talk about the monsoonal system, we know that from the river flows through the Himalayan region, and how the activities that are there in the upstream side, a lot of deforestation might have happened due to some infrastructure development, uh, or say there might be some dams, and the release of water through dams might release some excessive sediment inflow. So how is that accounted for? Again, studies are required in that. Then, as I mentioned, shoreline changes, erosion is one of the most crucial threat, which again not only to the coastal morphology but to the people living across the coastline as well. We have shoreline erosion in the coast of Gujarat, coast of Tamil Nadu. Again, a lot of our coast is vulnerable uh, to the climate change. Then we have a lot of cyclones coming through the eastern coast as well. That also leads to erosion or leads to some very extreme sediment influx. This not only damages the marine the infrastructure, that the port infrastructure, but also has effects on the livelihood. It would lead to migration. So you can see there are a lot of socio-economic challenges as well. Then when we talk about the river and sediment transport, so the Indian rivers contribute around 15 to 20% of the global sediment flux into the Indian Ocean region. So you can see in this figure also, it's so much significant that so much sediment influx is there. But even though there is no proper extensive studies to see how what are the various activities that affect the sediment influx, because it not only depends on the climatic condition, but on the various inland conditions as well. What are the developments that have been happening in the upstream side and in the downstream side as well. So what happens is, due to this uncontrolled sediment flux, there might be variation in the depth of the navigational channels. Now this reduces the accessibility of the vessels. Certain vessels which require larger draft, might not be able to access these navigational channels. Excessive siltation is always a major issue. And then what happens is, most of the river water is diverted for other applications, say for agriculture, for irrigation. That that's so that the maintain of the water depth is not properly maintained. that again impedes the navigation in that particular stretch of water. And then there are the geographical constraints, be which leads to excessive sedimentation due to just a small amount of flow. Moreover, when there is excessive sedimentation, we need to perform dredging. But we don't look into what are the side effects of dredging, what are the negative effects of dredging on the ecology, the marine ecology. Now, if there are industries located nearby the water, the navigational channels, the sediment might get polluted. Now, due to dredging, the sediment gets resuspended. Once the sediments are resuspended, the pollutants also are suspended in the water stream. Now, this increases the turbidity. Now, this turbidity leads to an increase in the suspended solids of the particular water body. This has effects on the spawning and breeding of the fisheries. If there are pollutants, then there might be a chance of the of bioaccumulation as well. Disease proliferation might also happen. So it has impacts on the fisheries and aquaculture, and then finally it might, the pollutants might enter the food web, and then they impact the human health as well. So again, we can see the marine ecology and then human health, so these are all tied together. Then for the development of the coastal infrastructure, we have a lot of mangroves, but for the coastal, again, when we see for ports or you have seen the current news for the I think in Mumbai for the coastal road, again some mangroves needs to be cut down. Now mangroves play a crucial role in controlling the water levels. They again they may trap the sediments as well, control the water fluctuating water level. But once these are cut down for any kind of development, the water is just free to flow. There might be extreme flooding situations as well, extreme inflow of sediment. Again, that is an issue for the navigational channels, for the local ecology that is there. So that's again, studies are required on, or we need to have more sustainable solutions instead of cutting down mangroves. Do we have another sustainable solutions? So what are the current constraints is that again we do not have proper institution arrangement to see how the sediment flows, because it requires coordination between multiple agencies. We have the Inland Waterway Dredging Corporation of India, various port operators, we have the Ministry of Jal Shakti, the Central Water Commission. So all of these, a coordinated approach is required. And then what are its effects on this, basically on the socio-economics? Where is the capacity gaps that are lying? If there is a skill development issue, what are that needs to be addressed. So, where are the opportunities that lie in the sediment management domain? So, we will talk about dredging optimization, how the sediment trap, alternative solutions to trap sediment would be there. How can we monitor basically the spatial and temporal variation of the sediments? Uh, so with the rise in the AI and the Internet of Things technology, we could use the IoT based sensors in dredging, and what these can release real time information, also about information about the performance of the dredgers, the efficiency, fuel efficiency. And also we could look into how the seabed is actually looking at in real time, because in dredging one of the major tasks is quantifying how the amount of dredging. So dredging contract might be given for a particular amount, for a particular volume, but how do we actually look into that needs to be seen. So again, that requires the development of autonomous systems as well. uh, I'll just skip through it. Yeah. So another thing is the development of coastal infrastructure, green coastal infrastructure. Basically, we have sediment traps, traps or green belts that might control the excessive sediment erosion. Uh, these green techniques, hard structures might be employed. Again, that requires another specific studies. Pilot projects might be required. So when we talk about the dead sediments, we should look into how it can be used as a resource. So the dead sediment, once we have proper engineering studies done, the chemical and biological properties done, we can reuse them in agriculture. We can use it in infrastructure for fill as a land reclamation. We have the sand. Again, a lot of sand can be replaced by such dead sediments if feasible. So we can look into how the dead sediment can play a role in the local economy as well. Again, if we can reuse the dead sediments, we have the local communities that can use. So if the sediments are rich in silt, we can develop ceramics out of it, we can have bricks out of them. That might again, the local communities can be taught how they can be given training on that. For that, we also need proper skill development centers, action plans of how to support the local communities. And then how can the sediment management act as a tool for regional cooperation? If we have proper sediment monitoring systems in place, we have proper understanding of the tropical regions, we can develop our own acoustic systems, our own hardware that are catered to the unique characteristics. And then these can be later on incorporated into the marine special planning as well. So Sridhar sir also talked about simulation based marine special planning, development of blue economic policies. We can include the role of sediment management in them, and then within the IORA and the BIMSTEC, we could include them so as to have a regional participation. And basically, how this would lead to an upliftment of the coastal communities as well. So it would have a socio-economic impact as well. And then we have the Atmanirbhar as well. If we are able to develop our own hardwares, basically we need to not rely on the Western firmware anymore. It would save our foreign exchange as well. So for this, we have the 2C to understand and 2 share kind of model. So the 2C would look into the hardware development. To understand would be the data processing, that is understanding what kind of processing would be required to basically filter out whatever noise is coming in the raw data due to the various multipart propagation or due to ambient noise. And then how can we share the data between the various stakeholders. As Sridhar sir also talked about, we have a modeling based MSP. So we could have basically modeling of sediments in various crucial areas, so that we could see how it basically the flow of sediment is affected due to the changing say temperature or climate change, or how the various parameters are changing. And then we can also have the various stakeholders. Basically, what we need to look into is the digital transformation, that is the role of the GIS, that is the geographic informative systems, remote sensing, satellite based monitoring of sediments to track the sediment flow over a large period of time. You could have automated data collection and analysis using the again automated data collection systems, role of IoT based sensors. And then a centralized sediment repository can be created, which would include the various biochemical characteristics of the sediment that can be used for, say, dredging purposes or the reusing of them. And then again, we have the integration of MSP. And then the final thing is the we could also have proper online courses for the skill development of the local communities. How can they look into the local dynamics of the sediment? The MRC has also launched the sediment management course, which looks into the various aspects of sediment management in say SAGAR also, and other aspects of urban development of benthic ecosystem. Such online courses can cater to a large audience across the globe, and again, this could also used as a soft power for India. So finally, what we require is a user, academia, and industry cooperation to develop sediment-related capabilities in the region. A lot of pilot projects are required for the proof of concepts, and then integrated policies between the various authorities. We have the maritime boards, the coastal management authorities, inland waterways authority of India. Integrated policies are required for a sustainable sediment related infrastructure development. So that's it from my side. Thank you.